For the last decade and more, JCLP has given me my most important Jewish community outside of my family, and the gift of learning from each cohort and each participant. It has been a growth-filled journey, frustrating, gratifying, amazing, all at the same time. But our work together has created a space for productive engagement, hard questions, and the ability to learn from others without freezing them in time. As our alumni bring these skills to their careers and lives, they are positioned to make our community stronger, more hopeful, more resilient.
One of my favorite memories from JCLP was building, decorating, and hosting conversations in the sukkah in the courtyard of the School of Social Work. It was one of many unique opportunities that we had to foster conversations and build community around Jewish social justice values. I think about the people and the conversations and discussions that we had in that space, and it's totally emblematic of our time together in Ann Arbor.
A meaningful memory from my time with JCLP, which by the way was 10 years ago, exactly, hence the purpose of this celebration. So a memory of a meaningful time with my experience with JCLP was definitely our tour of Jewish Detroit. It was so eye-opening and meaningful and inspiring to see the rich history and memories there in the city.
My time in JCLP has impacted so much about how I see the world and how I see the Jewish community. It taught me the importance of meeting people where they are, about what a diverse set of experiences people have in the Jewish community. It also really strengthened my investment in Jewish community and Jewish communal life. I could not have imagined myself working in the Jewish community again after grad school. Yet almost 10 years later, here I am, still engaged in Jewish communal life, professionally and personally.
Since graduating from JCLP 6 years ago, I've been working at One Table, a national nonprofit that helps folks in their 20s and 30s build a lasting, authentic, and meaningful Shabbat practice for them. I currently serve as our Director of People and Field Operations, and that really allows me to bring in all that I learned in my social work degree and in our JCLP seminars to life every single day.
JCLP impacted the way that I see the world by really emphasizing the community component of my social work practice. For me, everything starts and ends with community. Everything has to be bound by community, uplifted by community, informed and led by community. We're everything with each other, and JCLP was the foundation for that.
JCLP has impacted the way I see the world because growing up, I used to think that anyone who didn't participate in Jewish life was maybe like the problem, part of the problem. And I, learned in being in JCLP that really when people aren't involved in Jewish life, it's usually because the metaphorical tent isn't big enough. And that, a really big goal for Jewish institutions everywhere and ourselves as Jewish leaders is figuring out how to widen that tent to make people feel included.
JCLP has impacted how I see the world by providing a power analysis through which I can examine the structures and systems that I interact with. It also gave me a framework to support me in grappling with questions of community, abundance, and responsibility.
JCLP has taught me to challenge kind of the just general view of Judaism and defining the us and the we and not being scared to push other people. I think my favorite memory was definitely being in Israel and especially the homestay I got to do with Allie.
JCLP has really helped me understand history and sociological context that helps make meaning of who we are and why we care and fight for the things that we are invested in.
One of the biggest ways that JCLP has impacted my life is the way that it gave me the framework of polarities and holding a both and framework, and living in ambiguity and tension and gray area and seeing the power that that has rather than always trying to find one right answer, instead really holding space for multiple perspectives and allowing people to grow and change. I still say to not freeze people in time. In my professional life, in my personal life, it's one of those things that's just really stuck with me.
As I ventured into social work school, I learned how to utilize what I loved about social work to impact my work in the Jewish world. And although my practice doesn't look any different Jewishly, since starting JCLP, the way in which I work professionally and what I'd like to do with my life professionally has definitely been informed by my time at JCLP.
For me, JCLP was exactly what I needed it to be. It was a place where I could engage in some of the Jewish community's toughest questions with support and, of course, some loving pushback from my peers. I also had the opportunity to do field work in places I never would have worked otherwise and meet people in the Jewish community I never would have met otherwise.
One of my favorite JCLP memories is our class trip to New Orleans in 2019. It was so wonderful learning about the Jewish organizations there and just how they made an incredible impact on the community during the time of Hurricane Katrina and beyond.
As someone who went through many different Jewish organizations growing up between camps and Hillels and BBYO and all that stuff, JCLP gave me the opportunity to see the Jewish community on a much broader lens, which is something I'm really grateful for, especially being someone whose family is so closely tied into the Detroit Jewish community. It gave me the opportunity to see the entire Jewish community worldwide.